welcome to number 9 of our 30 years in the making. We are reviewing Wrestlemania 9 this time. I've got my notes down here, so I'm going to be reading off there. We'll jump straight into it because we've probably got quite a bit to say about this one, even though it's thought of as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. We will go through it. Okay, April the 4th, 1993. We are in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. 16,891, which is a huge difference to last year's. In the last video, we were on 63,000, I think. Yeah. Massive difference. It's also in the middle of the day the whole way through.
So weird.
It is really strange to see.
Weird.
I mean, this is the only open arena that we see WrestleMania in until 24.
Is that right?
I think from now on they are actually open arenas. I know last year's.
Really?
I know. I can't remember last year's, but I know Cena against Rock for the first time was actually open arena in Miami. So it was completely.
I vaguely remember that.
But it goes dark because obviously it's night time. Okay, we'll jump straight in. We open up with Gorilla Monsoon in a toga because for some reason they've themed this WrestleMania. Because it's in Caesar's Palace, it's all going to be like Caesars and Cleopatra and togas, the world's biggest toga party. We also get to see the debut of good old JR, Jim Ross. He's looking very young. He's got all the...
Very healthy.
He's very healthy. He's got the... he can use both sides of his face because obviously he has that horrible... I think it's a stroke or Bell's palsy happened to him and he like loses movement of half of his face. Not yet. He's got all of the most. And obviously poor old JR's in a toga. We get the opening ceremony in which we get Randy Savage being brought out on laying down on a I've got it written in here, a sedan, not the car, the slab. Then we get Bobby Heenan being brought out looking the wrong way on a camel.
He's really like sort of being dragged
we get
along.
an elephant bring out Cleopatra and Caesar. And poor old JR all the way through this has to be like, oh, there were 7 Cleopatras and it was awful. You know when you watch like I don't know, like a snooker event or something and the commentator's got to think of things to say whilst they're doing shit. That's what JR's job was.
You could tell where the budget went.
Yeah, you could. Our commentary team is completely different to what we had in the last one. We get Bobby Heenan, we get Randy Savage, who's not wrestling anymore, he's now a commentator, and we get JR's debut. So we get a 3-man commentary team for the whole way through.
I'm not necessarily happy that Savage isn't wrestling anymore, but he's so good on mic.
I think he's good, but I don't think hearing Savage talk is great.
Really?
Not that he's not a good talker. It's just obviously he's putting on that really thick voice.
No.
All the way through.
That's annoying. But he said so many like, not things that we can necessarily write down. Well, I couldn't really write them down, but he was just entertaining. Yeah,
I mean he made because he uses on that silly voice. If he says something normal, it sounds funny because he's putting it in that voice.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
I guess 1 or 2.
I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind. I'd rather, like you said, I'd rather see Savage wrestling. Yeah. But can't have it all.
If you can't, at least he's involved.
Exactly. First, the opener of the show is Tatanka with Sensational Sherry defeating Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title. He's also with Luna. We got Luna's debut in 18 minutes and 13 seconds.
She was looking pretty.
Oh yeah, I said this should look like, I don't know whether it's Willow, the film, but she looks like the evil, like, there'll be somebody out there that understands what I'm saying.
Comment.
There's like this evil brown thing with like proper big hair and she's got like all the weird wrinkle marks and that. She's out of something I've seen, like Dark Crystal, Willow,
Labyrinth.
that sort of film, and she's just I don't even think she's the evil one, I think she's like a good witch or something, but she looks bloody evil.
She Wizard of Oz.
No, not Wizard of Oz. Yeah, we still haven't got the best of Shawn Michaels yet, but this is a damn good match.
Yeah.
This is actually really entertaining. The opening match, for those of you that don't know the way how to book stuff, but the opening match is basically to work the crowd, to get the crowd to wake up for the rest of the show. This match definitely did that. I got a few things written down for it. There was a really nice... I'm not really a fan of Tatanka, but this is actually an example of really good athleticism. Shawn Michaels comes off the top rope and Tatanka arm drags him, which isn't that great in itself, but then he does 2 more arm drags like straight away after. Now I don't know whether you've watched an arm drag properly, but an arm drag, you have to hook your opponent, go down with him, to send him across the ring. For you to do that, then get up and do the other arm, and then do that and do the other arm, it takes a lot of speed, it takes a lot out of you. The only other person I've seen it do better is Kurt Angle, SummerSlam 2003, and that was fucking awesome to see.
I thought, like, I did really enjoy this match. I felt like, I don't know if I was being biased, you will know, because you know the other guy better, but I thought that Shawn Michaels was carrying.
Yeah, he was. He was definitely. He was definitely carrying it. Tatanka probably.
He seems to have some skills, but he's
a medium wrestler at best, but he's with Shawn Michaels. There's another match later on in which it's blatantly obvious that someone is carrying the match, but we'll get that later.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, the story of the match is Tatanka is working over Shawn Michaels' shoulder and arm because he attacked it the week before, and he basically does arm drags. He keeps knocking down the arm, and there's this really painful sounding hard shoulder into the ring post.
You had to rewind it, didn't you?
Yeah, it sounded painful, and literally, I don't know how he did it because it looks like he did actually hit this ring post full pelt by Shawn Michaels. There was this really good moment where Bobby Heenan said, it was quite funny, he says he doesn't care who wins the match as long as it's not Shawn. I liked that kind of resonated with me. I quite like that. There was this really nice bit where Tatanka comes off the top rope and he just walks straight into a super kick. This is before the Sweet Chin music, so it's not the end. I don't even know what HBK's finisher is at this point. There's a really nice flying clothesline where he's on the ring apron, basically going through the spots that I liked. Tatanka then does his version of hulking up, because in these days every face had to have like a hulking up where he sort of like ran around the ring and didn't matter what HBK was doing, he wouldn't get knocked down. And then there was this match was really good, but it had a really weird finish. Okay, Tatanka knocked HBK out of the ring. Tatanka rolled back into the ring, and the ref was counting, but then Shawn Michaels suddenly pulled the ref down and pulled him out of the ring, rolled into the ring. Tatanka hit his finisher, and Tatanka went to cover Shawn. And the ref goes down to make the count, but then suddenly stops and calls for the bell. Now, I was thinking it must be a disqualification because he's laid his hands on the ref.
You would think, yeah.
Yeah, but no, apparently Shawn Michaels got counted out before attacking the ref and then walking into the finisher.
See, when we were watching it, you did say that. You did say, surely Shawn Michaels is being counted out right now because he was outside the ring for quite a while. Yeah. But the thing is, surely they're not allowed to go, oh shit, yeah, earlier on you kind of did this thing, so now it's DQ. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
It was just a really weird finish.
He's, like, reffing badly.
Yeah, he's reffing. It was awful. But, I mean, it's kind of like reminiscent of the last video where this is a good match, but the finish really lets it down. It really brings it down. Right, so we go, the end of the match is Shawn Michaels is obviously irate and he walks off. Luna suddenly attacks Sensational Sherry and takes her down, and then it runs off. Like, Luna's gone. It's like faster than the Ultimate Warrior.
She just remembered she left the cooker on.
Yeah, that was it. Gone. I've never seen someone run that fast.
She was like,
and we've been watching Ultimate Warrior.
She can fucking run. Now, I thought the very, very beginning of WrestleMania, and obviously them coming in, Shawn Michaels had this weird, horrible outfit on, and then he stripped off the top. I thought it was very Mad Max. Have you seen Mad Max?
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, which is
very much.
It is.
Goes kind of with a little bit with the theme.
Which is quite funny because the villain that I said Luna looks like also is kind of Mad Maxy type film as well. So maybe that's what they were going for. We go to the back. Mean Gene Okerlund with the Steiner brothers. Those of you that know the Steiner brothers, you realise that Scott Steiner is one of the Steiner brothers who becomes Big Papa Pump years later. Becomes a big deal in WCW and then comes over to WWE when WWE by WWE. So then we go into one of the most boring and slow plodded tag team matches I've ever seen, where the Steiner brothers defeat the Head Shrinkers, who have Afa with them, in 14 minutes 22 seconds.
My God.
It was so long.
On this piece of paper, I have the names. I have verses written in between, and all I have are the letters WTF.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. For a match that is obviously two powerhouse tag teams facing off, it is so long. They spend 10 minutes of this match where the head shrinkers are beating down Scott Steiner. 10 minutes of a 14-minute match where they're just beating down one guy. It's so boring. The only good bit that happens is the end, where Rick Steiner gets... Like, oh no, there was actually something beforehand. The head shrinkers are going for the Doom device, which you know from the Legion of Doom, and Rick Steiner catches Fatu and turns it into a body slam. Looked fucking awesome. And then the ending looked really good. Rick Steiner gets scoop slammed, and Samu goes to run. And Rick Steiner did. If you've ever watched the Steiner brothers, like from these days, Rick Steiner would do this beautiful jumping like Frankensteiner for a guy his size. How he did it, it's like watching Kane do a drop kick. You know, it's so amazing to see, and he just pulls this Frankenstein out of nowhere and gets the win. It looks impressive.
WrestleMania needs a bit of Kane in its life.
It will be here soon. We got Mean Gene going to the back for one of the worst gimmicks of all time, Doink the Clown, doing evil Doink the Clown. Now, I always thought, if you're going to do Doink the Clown as bad, you do it. That's the only...
Pennywise.
Yeah, that's the only one you could do. But no, this is just ridiculous.
See, I'd never heard. I think I've heard the name in the past, and then suddenly this thing appeared on my screen. I was like, oh dear God.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
And then the music kicked in, and I thought, this could be quite creepy.
But
this could be quite good, and it's just awful.
He doesn't do anything creepy at all, does he? If you're going to do a heel clown, you go for scary.
I want to see like a bloody smile.
Exactly, but you don't get any of that. This is Doink the Clown defeating Crush in 8 minutes 28 seconds. Really boring match. It's another match that's so long. I literally put down here, it's stupid to see a clown climb to the top rope. Because this clown is sitting on the top rope and I'm thinking that just doesn't look right. That looks fucking stupid. Yeah.
It's a different part of the circus.
Awful.
But what happened in the match?
What happened in the match? Crush is basically beating Doink down the whole time, and then all of a sudden Doink, the ref gets a bump, and Doink suddenly goes underneath the ring, and then Doink comes out the other side of the ring, and Crush hits his finisher. I can't remember what it was, and he goes to cover. All of a sudden, the real Doink comes running out from underneath the ring and slams him with a prosthetic arm, beats him down, and then you get this horrible moment where the fake Doink and the real Doink stand above each other and they do that horrible little mime thing, the mirror thing. And then the other one runs out and then he covers for the win.
If the whole thing hadn't been done in such a tacky way, that could have looked quite sinister, quite creepy, but it didn't. It just looked really
just looked awful.
The rest of it had been done so badly.
Yeah, it's just... I've literally put the two words, fucking stupid, for this match. We then get a ref come out, and for you ECW lovers out there, it's Bill Alfonso, okay? Rob Van Dam's manager that runs around with his whistle in his thing. Bill Alfonso. Yeah, Rob Van Dam's manager in ECW.
Cool.
Then we have this horrible thing where there's this awful guy in the crowd going around talking to people, and he goes to the two Japanese people in the fucking crowd and goes, what do you... First of all, they asked this really stupid question. Was that two doinks or was it an illusion? That was two doinks. It was definitely two doinks.
There was two of them.
And they go up to the two Japanese guys, and obviously these Japanese guys can't speak a word of English. I mean, let's go for the racism part of WWF. He asked them a question, and they literally answer him back in Japanese. And then he goes to answer the other Japanese guys, and he's just laughing like an idiot. I'm surprised they weren't fucking subtitles for the laughing. That's how racist this segment was, you know. And then he's laughing like an idiot, and then he goes, "Oh, Yokozuna," and they're like, "Oh yeah, Yokozuna," sort of thing. It's just awful. It's just so bad. And then this reminded me. I wrote this down as well. This reminded me of, you know, when you watch like The Simpsons or American Dad did it or anything, where they do Spring Break, and they have the interviews of them doing
Yeah.
spring break.
Yeah.
Like, rah, sort of like thing. That's
It
what
was just like that, because in the
every
moment
time.
later on that happens.
Yeah, every time he goes into the crowd, it just reminds me. It must be spring break.
This guy is the sort of guy that, I don't know, he seems like he's a college grad or something.
I think he was
won
like
a competition or something.
Yeah, I think he was like a radio DJ or something that they got for him.
Quite young. He must have been only about 26.
No, it's just every time he went to the crowd, he goes to the crowd quite a few times, and he's awful, by the way. I mean, later on, I won't save it for later on because I wasn't really going to discuss it. He goes to a child and goes to ask the child something, and the child doesn't even get to answer, and he goes, "Yeah, that's great," and like takes the microphone away from his child. You know, he's awful.
He pushes a kid out of the way.
Pushes a kid out of the way to talk to these two jocks who start acting like fucking idiots.
And literally like shoves this kid, and then they were like punching on each other and stuff like that, and it's
It's so stupid.
very spring break.
Next match, we have the debut of a legend, Razor Ramon, aka Scott Hall, one of the men part of the famous NWO, defeating another legend, Bob Backlund, in 3 minutes 45 seconds.
Yeah.
That's right, 3 minutes 45 seconds.
So, can you answer me this?
Yes.
How is it? Because I was very impressed by Razor Ramon actually, and I'd never really heard of him. How come he only gets 3 minutes, and the two Joker matches before get longer?
It is literally...
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I have literally put here, okay, first of all I say this is a nice technical match, we get a nice brawl, we get a double underhook suplex, which is quite nice, and I've literally put Ramon inside cradle for pin out of nowhere. Why was this so short, and Doink match was so long? Priorities!
Too short. Why did they get... It's like...
It's insane. Doink the Clown gets double the time that this match gets.
It's not good enough.
How is that possible?
It's not good enough.
I mean, that is just before I will tackle this show at the end. This show, fucking awful.
So much wrong with
The
it.
booking is so bad, but we will get to that later.
Yeah.
We have Mean Gene out the back with Ted DiBiase and Bruce Campbell, aka IRS. They mention an accident happening with Hulk Hogan, which we will discuss in a minute. Then we get Money Inc. as the tag team champions, defeating Mega Maniacs, which is Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake, with Jimmy Hart in 18 minutes 27 seconds. Hulk Hogan comes out with the biggest shiner. The biggest shiner you've ever seen, and it's all bloodshot and everything. I will discuss that later. I will save that till later. Brutus Beefcake also has a protective mask on, because apparently his face is injured. And then we also get Money Inc. tried to walk out like they did in the last year's WrestleMania, and they decide that if they get counted out, they lose the tag team titles, so Money Inc. have to come back in.
They give him a really quick 10 count.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a ref's 10 count. It was like
9, 10. You know, it gave them so much time. During this match, Hulk Hogan is knocked down. He's worked over for most of the match, so he's knocked down. Bruce Beefcake jumps in and puts the sleeper on Ted DiBiase, so both men are down, okay? I will tackle the steaming pile of shit that is Hulk Hogan later. But during this match, this made me so angry, okay? I actually shouted out, "fucking arsehole," didn't I?
Yeah.
The ref is obviously counting both men down, and they get to 9, and Hulk Hogan sits up exactly like The Undertaker. Exactly like The Undertaker.
I know he's coming up. I'm going to throw my toys out the pram because he's on later on.
We will discuss Hogan later,
Yeah.
but it is that. He is blatantly stealing Undertaker's spot because Undertaker's really popular at this point.
Yeah.
You're a scumbag, mate. Ted DiBiase hits Brutus with the briefcase, and then Dibiase takes off Brutus's mask. Brutus fights back. I just hate this guy.
Brutai.
Fucking Brutai. Brutus locks the sleeper on IRS, and Ted DiBiase hits both of them into the ref. Hogan then gets the tag, grabs the mask from Brutus, and hits DiBiase and IRS down. Both men go to cover, and then Jimmy Hart just puts on a striped jacket, doesn't he? And count the three.
He reverses his jacket and pretends to be a ref.
Yeah, and apparently, according to all the fans and all the good guys, that's okay. So a ref comes running out and goes, "No, I don't think so. You use that mask, you're disqualified." Okay? Ridiculous end to a ridiculous match. Then Hogan and Brutus attack Money Inc. because obviously the faces have to look good. They then have Hogan's music play. Obviously not Brutus's, it has to be Hogan's. And they open the briefcase, there's a brick in there, and then there's a load of money. They start giving out the money to the crowd. That's the last we're going to see of Hogan. Or is it? Then we have Mean Gene out the back with Mr. Perfect, which the only thing... obviously Mr. Perfect does a good promo, but it's quite funny because he's trying to get the narcissist Lex Luger out of his mouth, and instead he goes, the Lexicist. I mean, the Lex... oh, don't worry, I'm going to the ring. You know, that was quite funny. I would like to say straight away, before we tackled the entrance, this is Mr. Perfect's worst match we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's the only time I've not had like a lot of compliment for him.
Yeah, Lex Luger obviously comes out, and he comes out with the most revealing outfits for women so far.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so bad. And then mirrors. You know, it was like they were trying to tan him. You know, Chipmunk here managed to notice that Lex Luger threw Perfect off him before getting a cheeky scratch in the balls as well. You know,
close up, he was in like the left corner of the screen, and had a proper little scratch.
Yeah. Lex Luger shows how bad he is at selling at this match. It's awful. There is a really nice top rope dropkick from Perfect, obviously, later on. And then as that happens, because that sort of caught my attention again, Luger quickly rolls up Perfect and gets the win. And then he also hits his big forearm, which is like his finisher after the match. Not a good match at all. Perfect is meant to be knocked out, but he obviously gets back up, decides to storm out the back, finds Lex Luger talking to none other than Shawn Michaels. Perfect attacks Luger, and Shawn Michaels decides, fuck that, and attacks Mr. Perfect, hitting him with chairs and everything like that, and he leaves Perfect down, and that's obviously building up to a feud between Perfect and HBK, which we're going to miss because it doesn't happen at WrestleMania. He was like
shirtless and wore jeans and cowboy boots.
Yeah, someone's dream. We then go on to The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeating Giant Gonzalez, who has Harvey Whipple with him, in 7 minutes 33 seconds.
What was he wearing?
Yeah, Giant Gonzalez's outfit. What the fuck is that about? You know, I literally said to Chipmunk, you're going to have a laugh here, and then he came out with the outfit. And then we had The Undertaker's entrance, where he had his pet vulture with him. Yeah, he had his pet vulture with him. We start the match with Undertaker no-selling everything that Giant Gonzalez did. Giant Gonzalez is so bad at selling. He gets hit and it's like, oh, sort of thing. It's
makes
awful.
Carly look like a star.
I have literally put Giant Gonzalez. Great Carlies are Giant Gonzalez. It's so bad.
Yeah, so Carly's better.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that.
There's a moment that's quite funny where Giant Gonzalez is in the corner, and Undertaker sort of like goes, and he obviously taps Gonzalez to get him to turn around, because obviously they're working together, spoilers, and Giant Gonzalez turns around, but the wrong way, and Undertaker has to sort of go round.
So we'll be going, tap, tap,
yeah, quick turn round, and then we get our first ever old school, which is obviously not old school yet, it's new school, where he walks the ropes, which is awesome to see. Then Gonzalez throws Undertaker across the ring, which is obviously the first time Undertaker had that. JR had this really funny moment where he goes, I've never seen the Undertaker get thrown around like that, and Bobby Heenan goes, well, your career basically goes about 3 hours, and JR went, well, I haven't seen it in that 3 hours. Great retort, JR, well done. It was brilliant. Every time Bearer seems to pick up the urn, Undertaker seems to stand up, which is like quite a cool little gimmick for it.
I like it. It's very... No one makes a fuss over it, but it's very discreet and quite chilling.
Yeah, it is.
That's the point of Undertaker now. I think, I'm sorry to be all gushy over him, but he is so like... I want to use the word understated. Is that the right word? Like, they don't make a lot of fuss about the Undertaker. Yeah, everything he does is so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Undertaker, he's obviously one of those powerful
other people's gimmicks are very like... flashy, whereas his is just
it's still
straight.
cartoon Undertaker, but it's dark cartoon sort of Undertaker. There's
that.
this really funny moment where obviously Undertaker's trying to knock down Giant Gonzalez, and where he's awful at selling, he like basically falls down slowly, but it's like, you know, when you watch the old films and someone gets shot and they fall down really slowly in like slow motion. Oh. And then, but then both managers get knocked down, and all of a sudden Giant Gonzalez decides to sort of put chloroform over the Undertaker to put him out. Now, then the referee disqualifies Giant Gonzalez, but I discussed this with you, didn't I? He disqualifies the Giant Gonzalez not for using the chloroform, which is a weapon. Yeah, he disqualifies him for not letting go of the hold of the chloroform on the Undertaker for the count of 5.
The cloth. It's ridiculous.
It's what? That doesn't even make sense.
You can literally like kill somebody.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And so Undertaker wins by disqualification to keep the streak alive. Imagine if Undertaker had lost that match. And then all the referees come piling out to try and sort of like drag the Undertaker away. Now we were waiting for a sit-up. We were waiting for him to sit up on the stretcher, but no, he went out to the back, and his music hit, and he came running out.
It wasn't even all his music, was it? It was just a gong, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it would have been so much better if he was on the stretcher and he sat up.
I was waiting.
That would have been
the
such a
last
better
second
image.
to just hear him just sit.
Yeah.
To hear him, just see him sit the last second.
Undertaker comes running back in, and it takes 3 clotheslines to knock Giant Gonzalez down. Now, this match, it was bad. This was a bad match, but this is like the Undertaker's 3rd year at WrestleMania, and I have never seen someone so blatantly carry someone. It was so obvious that Undertaker was controlling this match. He was calling everything in the ring, and to think that he's not even actually a veteran yet, and he is already. I mean, we know the Undertaker as the locker room leader. You know, the guy that literally he picks his opponents. He goes through the matches himself. We know him as the veteran. To know that 3 years in, he's already got that sort of support from Vince McMahon. Yeah. It's mind-blowing. Awesome. This is also how you build a big man, because obviously Undertaker is meant to be all-powerful, but Giant Gonzalez was still getting knocked down, like, after lots of shots. We then go backstage with Mean Gene, where Mean Gene heights up the main event, where we get shown Yokozuna attacking with the bonsai drop on Jim Duggan, and then he's also doing it on Bret Hart during the contract signing. And then, guess who comes out? Hulk Hogan comes to the interview.
Okay,
yeah, he comes to the interview, and he says like that Bret Hart is a Hulkamaniac, but he looked into Bret Hart's eyes and he didn't think that Bret Hart thought that he could win. So that means that Hulk Hogan is going to challenge whoever wins this main event for the WWF title, and make sure that the WWF title stays in the United States of America.
Why was he getting involved in the promo?
I will discuss that later. Then we go into the main event, which is Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji defeating Bret Hart for the WWF Championship in 8 minutes 55 seconds.
Yeah, but this is really short for a main event.
Yeah, it is. This, though, it may have been short, but this was the perfect match to build up a big guy.
Yes.
Bret Hart was so amazing at what he did, because he started the match quick. He was like attacking Yokozuna as quickly as possible, trying to get him
he
done.
had to wear him down.
Yeah, he was like trying to fight him straight away. He was trying to suplex him, which he couldn't do. Then like there was this moment where Hart like knocks down Yokozuna and he gets tied up in the ropes, and you see Hart desperately like hitting top rope move after top rope move to try and keep him down, to get
as hard as
covers.
he could.
And then Yokozuna would just keep powering out and powering out. There was this leg drop on Bret Hart that Bret Hart sold like someone had just flattened his face.
Yeah.
You know, he is making Yokozuna look like £1 million here. Then it's funny because there was a USA chant, and I turned to you and I laughed, and you went, "Why?" And I went, "There's a United States chant for the WWF Championship because obviously Yokozuna's Japanese, but Bret Hart's Canadian." Okay, doesn't make sense.
And a few minutes later,
Bobby Heenan points this out. He's like, "I don't know why there's a USA chant when there's a Canadian and a Japanese guy in the ring." Brilliant. There was this really weird one where Bret Hart goes for like a top rope headlock, which knocks Yokozuna down, and he goes for a 2 count, which is really cool. There was a... what was it? Oh yeah, there was this really nice like flying clothesline that Bret Hart did, and he quickly dove for the cover, and it looked like, you know, this is going to be a long count. And the Yokozuna kicked out 1. Just all powerful Yokozuna. Then Bret is up trying to do the 10 count, and Yokozuna sort of like pulls Bret away. Bret accidentally like pulls the turnbuckle away, and then Yokozuna goes to hit Bret into the turnbuckle, but Bret hits Yokozuna into the turnbuckle, knocks him down, and then we get to see a very impressive sharpshooter, where obviously Bret is having to take these massive thighs around his leg and lift this big guy up for it.
Yeah, it was really good to see.
It's so impressive. This guy is carrying WWF in this match. It is amazing to see. As he's got the sharpshooter in, Mr. Fuji throws the salt into the eye of Bret Hart, and Yokozuna quickly covers for the 1-2-3 and wins the WWF Championship. And
he does incredibly well in that match.
It is such, you know, both men. I mean, Yokozuna is a great big man, but Bret Hart, fucking hats off to you, mate. You were amazing in this match. So good.
I have one regret. I wish we'd switched it off then.
We should have switched it off then, because that was the end of WrestleMania. Oh no, wait, no, it wasn't, because then Hulk Hogan decided to come out.
Has to have his moment, doesn't he?
Hulk Hogan came out and is like, oh, checking over Bret Hart, and then Mr. Fuji goes, I challenge you all to face Fuji for Yokozuna for the WWF Championship. Bret, you know, Hulk Hogan goes, yeah, all right, and Yokozuna holds Hulk Hogan for Fuji to throw the salt in. But Hogan ducks and the salt goes into Yokozuna. Bret Hart knocks down Yokozuna with 1 clothesline. Remember that Bret Hart has been trying to knock Yokozuna down with like 4 or 5 clotheslines. Bret Hart does it with 1 clothesline, 1 leg drop, 1, 2, 3. Bret Hart wins the WWF Championship after 22 seconds.
22.
Everything that Bret Hart did in that match was undone by Hulk Hogan in 22 seconds.
What did Bret do to deserve that? That is so shitty.
That is not Bret Hart being destroyed, okay? Because I can finally tell you why Hulk Hogan has his black eye.
I hope Bret did it. I hope Bret got a time machine, knew this would happen, fucking knocked him out.
Oh god, he's like fainted from what we just told him. No, what happened was
What's wrong with his leg? He's pointing at you.
Oh, he wants to say something tough. What happened was Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake were scheduled to win the Tag Team Championship off Money Inc.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan turned around to Vince McMahon and said, I'm way too big. I'm too big of a star to hold the Tag Team Championship. I should be having the WWF Championship.
Right.
So him and Vince sat down and they purposely did it so that Hulk Hogan and that would get disqualified. And they did it so that Hulk Hogan had to win the WWF Championship. So, the end of Mania had to be that Hulk Hogan won the WWF Championship.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
I will tell you about the black eye in a second. But basically what happened after WrestleMania, it goes on a little bit longer, is basically Vince McMahon turned around to Hulk Hogan. He said, look, you can win the WWF Championship at WrestleMania if at SummerSlam you drop the WWF Championship to Bret Hart. Okay, that was the plan. Hulk Hogan said after he had the WWF Championship, I'm not doing that because Bret Hart is too small and he's not a big enough draw. He doesn't draw enough money. So he agreed to lose to Yokozuna. Okay, so what happened was, hold on, I need the exact details of it. Yeah, what happened was, in the match, Yokozuna kicked out of the leg drop, okay, and then his manager, Harvey Whippleman, threw a fireball into Hulk Hogan's face to allow Yokozuna to get the pin, because Hulk Hogan refused to have a clean win for Yokozuna. He had to have an out. He had to lose it. And then to make matters worse, about 3 months later, Hulk Hogan disappeared and went to WCW. He went to WCW, to WWF's like main rivals after this. Okay, that's how much of a scumbag Hulk Hogan is. His like ego is way up. The reason he has a black eye is because this isn't definite. This is rumours. It's even on Wikipedia. So if you want to check it out,
Wikipedia is fact. We know this.
Basically, yeah, sure. Is that there was an argument because Hulk Hogan was basically a prick. He was and the man that got into a fight with him was actually Randy Savage. Randy Savage got into a fight with Hulk Hogan because he said basically you're being a prick, and he punched out Hulk Hogan.
I like this man more.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he has the really bad black eye.
Really?
You know, Randy Savage was obviously sticking up for Bret Hart, it sucks because for someone to say that about Bret Hart, the way Bret carried this main event, he deserved
that title.
And he's been doing this for a long time before this, you know. And Bret is the guy that should be the number one guy.
I said to you before the main event started, "This is the main event." And you went, "Yeah," and I went, "Hogan's not in the main event," and you went, "No," although actually you very good like. I was like, "Yeah, this is already a good match."
Well, this is the last time we see Hulk Hogan until 2002 we see him. So we get a good few years rest, but that's 9 years. But yeah, basically Hulk Hogan shows how much of a knobhead he is in this.
It's ridiculous.
So bad. It's just a way to ruin. It just ruins.
Well,
this
at least you know if you were in a room with Hogan or Cena, you'd finally choose Cena.
No.
No. Really?
No. But we'll move on. Wrestler of the night.
Bret.
Yeah, same here. How can it not be Bret Hart? He carried that main event.
I'm not tempted to choose Savage.
He didn't wrestle.
He did. Good boy. Good boy.
But yeah, he made Yokozuna look amazing, and he's just in his prime. It's so good to see him in his prime. We get a couple of matches.
His arse off.
I think he's in the main event for the next 3 or 4 WrestleManias. He is amazing. We've got to be Bret Hart. Match of the night.
Match of the night was the first match.
You saw Michael's match, yeah. I'm going to say
the
main event.
Good.
I'm going to say the main event. I think it's because the Shawn Michaels match was good, but I think because we'd gone through so much shit beforehand, the main event made it look. It felt so much better because I was used to the crap that I was being given, basically. So it's got to be the main event. I couldn't find a commentator's line.
No, I didn't really. I mean, there was the one moment when he started giving numbers for some reason. One of them started 2 and 99 100ths.
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan. Really that was like 99 of 100ths. Yeah.
But no, it wasn't really anything good.
WrestleMania moment.
There wasn't really any sort of big decent moment.
There wasn't a standout moment for this one.
Not really. I mean, I really liked the moment when Undertaker came out and it was just that image of him with the vulture. I wrote down because I was going to say eagle with the vulture, and I thought that was like quite epic. I'm going to remember that image. So I guess for that reason it makes it a moment, isn't it?
Okay. But there was 2 for me. It was either Bobby Heenan coming out on the camel, or it's,
yeah. Oh, I did forget about that.
Or it's Undertaker and his vulture. I think I'll have to go with Undertaker and his vulture. Yeah. You know, you've got to go for that one. 8 out of 10.
Thing is, it wasn't a good WrestleMania at all, but I admit it was entertaining because it was so bad in ways. So it kept my attention even for the wrong reasons. So maybe like 5.
Yeah. I think there was like 10 matches, 9 or 10 matches.
9, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it out of how many good matches there were. So 2 out of 10. I'm gonna give it because there were 2 good matches.
I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't watch.
I would never watch it again. JR should not be in a toga. It's awful.
If you have to give your event, you've done 9 of them, right? We've done 8 of them. Sorry, whatever. By that point, and you have to give your show that many gimmicks, you know it's not a good show.
Yeah, WrestleMania should not have a gimmick.
If you have to spend, I know it's like Las Vegas, which means they probably got a discount on all those animals, but if you have to have a circus, including the clown, 2 clowns.
Yeah.
Like,
WrestleMania
in your ring.
It should be an event of itself. Yeah. Don't gimmick the event. That was WrestleMania 9. We're going into double digits next. Yes. So we're going to be 1/3 of the way in the next video. It's WrestleMania 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, WrestleMania 10. Which, just a few of the matches there. There's 3 big matches happening.
I don't know what they are.
Okay, well, you're just about to find out. It's thought of as one of the greatest wrestling openers of all time. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. The two brothers facing off again.
Wow.
It's been voted as one of the greatest openers. I'm so excited to watch this match again. Then we go along and it's Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon in the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's thought of as the first ladder match, but it's not. Bret Hart did one. But yeah, and Bret Hart pulls double duty. We get Bret Hart facing off against the WWF champion Yokozuna again. We get a replay of this main event that we've gushed about.
You would have told me that Hulk's nowhere near the match.
Hulk is nowhere near. So we get to see... Bret Hart does 2 matches. We get Shawn Michaels. We don't get an Undertaker match in the next one. He is injured for the next WrestleMania. But
I guess it doesn't ruin the streak.
But we get double dose of Bret Hart. We get Owen Hart. We get Shawn Michaels. You know... I'm really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to this one since we did WrestleMania.
Get into the boys that I know and love already.
We're gonna start breaking into the Austins, the Rocks, and that very soon. I'm looking forward to it. WrestleMania 10. That was WrestleMania 9. Hopefully that's the last WrestleMania we do where we give less than 5 out of 10. Hopefully, please. Forks wasn't a fan of this one. But that was WrestleMania 9. We're going on to WrestleMania 10. So I was Bingham, that was Chipmunk, that was Forks. You were amazing. We will see you tomorrow. WrestleMania 10. Comment, like, subscribe, all that crap. We will see you tomorrow. WrestleMania 10.
Bye.